Agency releases firm statement. Zhang Linghe incident divides fans. Zhang Linghe's name suddenly found itself at the center of controversy, not because of her latest work, but because of an incident that became known as the Nanning incident. And like fire igniting dry straw, one small incident was enough to ignite a global debate that has persisted to this day. Amidst the bustling crowd at the event, the situation began to escalate as interactions between the artist and fans spiraled out of control. Some reports cited crowd-driven violence that overwhelmed security, while other video clips showed moments that were interpreted differently by the public. This is where the division of opinion began, as no single perspective could truly stand as the sole truth. Zhang Linghe's agency subsequently issued an official statement addressing the behavior of some fans. In the release, they emphasized the importance of maintaining order and safety at any public event. However, this statement sparked mixed reactions. Some viewed the move as a form of protection for the artist, while others considered it an oversimplification of a much more complex situation. On the other hand, conflicting narratives emerged. Several witnesses and online commentators noted that Zhang Linghe herself appeared to be trying to remain calm amidst the volatile situation. She was portrayed as not escalating the situation and trying to maintain control. However, this interpretation is not uniform, as each circulating video clip only captures individual moments, not the entire incident. These differing perspectives are what fueled the Nanning incident's escalation online. Social media became a never-ending debate arena, with new versions emerging every second. Some believed the primary problem stemmed from excessive fan behavior, while others argued that the event's security system was unprepared for the surge in crowds. As the discussion escalated, the public's focus shifted from the core incident to a debate over who is ultimately responsible. This situation allowed facts and opinions to blend seamlessly. Numerous pieces of information circulated without complete context, further fueling confusion and misunderstandings among international audiences. Amidst the increasingly complex situation, Zhang Linghe's name continued to be the center of attention. Her every move was analyzed, her every expression debated, and even old video clips were re-emerged in search of additional clues. This phenomenon demonstrates how a public figure can quickly become the center of mass interpretation when an incident unfolds publicly. However, he wasn't the only one caught in the spotlight. Several other names at the scene also became the subject of discussion. One of them was Tian Xiwei, who was said to have tried to calm the situation surrounding the fans. However, this action also received varying interpretations among netizens. Some saw the move as a show of concern and professionalism, while others considered it part of an effort to manage their public image. Again, there is no single consensus on what actually happened, as each perspective brings a different interpretation. As time went on, the Nanning incident was no longer just about a single incident at an event. It became a symbol of how social media can shape, twist, and amplify an event in a short time. What initially began as a simple discussion turned into a conflict of opinion that spread across multiple platforms. Many observers believe that one of the biggest root causes of the problem is the speed with which unverified information spreads. Within minutes, video clips and comments can spread widely without clear context, creating differing perceptions among different audiences. On the other hand, others point out that the modern entertainment world is indeed vulnerable to situations like this. When popularity meets fanaticism, the line between support and pressure becomes incredibly thin. In such circumstances, even a small incident can escalate into a global public opinion crisis. Zhang Linghe's agency found itself in a difficult position once again, facing a wave of comments from various directions. They tried to keep the narrative focused, but beyond their control, the public discussion had already expanded far beyond the official statement. Meanwhile, Zhang Linghe herself remained the center of attention. Her every silence was interpreted, her every small response analyzed, as if the public were trying to piece together a puzzle from incomplete pieces. This situation demonstrates the immense pressure that arises when a public figure is caught in the middle of a digital controversy. Amidst all this, many began urging the public to wait for a more complete clarification before drawing conclusions. However, in the age of social media, patience often lags behind virality. Information travels faster than facts. This incident also reopened long-standing discussions about the relationship between artists, agencies, and fans. What should be clear boundaries often become blurred when emotions and expectations collide in the same public space. Nanning is the latest example of this complex dynamic. To this day, various versions of the story continue to circulate without any definitive conclusion. Each side has its own narrative, and each narrative has its own supporters. What remains is a long-running debate that has yet to reach a common ground. The debate, which initially focused on the incident at the event, has since expanded to include discussions about fan culture as a whole. Many began to question the line between enthusiasm and overreaction, while others felt that fans were once again being made scapegoats every time an incident occurred in a public space. This polarization made the discussion increasingly heated and emotional. Amidst the heated situation, the event organizers also came under scrutiny. Some considered the lack of security preparations a factor that could not be ignored. However, others argued that the incident was difficult to predict due to the enthusiasm that exceeded expectations. This difference of opinion further added a layer of complexity to understanding what actually happened. Meanwhile, Zhang Linghe remained in a difficult position. Her every move seemed to be under the public microscope. Even her silence, which she chose not to respond too quickly, was interpreted by some as a form of behavior, despite the lack of an official statement to that effect. This situation demonstrated how even silence can be subject to interpretation. Meanwhile, netizens continued to construct their own narratives based on the pieces of information circulating. Social media algorithms reinforced this by distributing similar content to groups of users with similar views, creating echo chambers that further accentuated differences of opinion. As a result, healthy dialogue became increasingly difficult. Tian Xiwei's name resurfaced in subsequent discussions as additional videos showed his interactions around the scene. Some viewed his actions as a spontaneous attempt to defuse tensions, while others felt the moment had been overframed by the evolving narrative. No real consensus was reached. Beyond this, entertainment media and commentators began to focus on the incident. Sensational headlines and short clips kept the public's attention, even though the information presented was often incomplete. This situation blurred the line between reporting and entertainment. As time passed, many began to realize that the incident had become more than just a fleeting moment. It had become a case study in how public perception is shaped in the digital age, where emotion often precedes verification. In such circumstances, truth becomes difficult to separate from opinion. Ultimately, despite the continued emergence of various clarifications and versions of the story, no single narrative has been able to fully resolve the debate. The Nanning incident remains a series of events interpreted differently by each side, leaving questions that may never have a single answer.